Hey guys, if you're a coach or consultant who's overwhelmed and feels like you're too busy to grow, then you're gonna wanna listen to this video. I work with so many coaches and consultants who are capped in the low, mid, even high six figures, early seven figures, and they simply don't know how to grow their business. And what often happens is this: you tell yourself, I don't have the time, but I'm making good money. So you don't invest the time it takes to implement the strategy that would truly transform your situation. But here's the thing: over time, that will lead to burnout and exhaustion. In fact, what often happens is your business starts to feel like another job. And let's be real, most entrepreneurs didn't start their business just to build another job. Most are seeking freedom. So how do we solve this? That's what we're going to talk about in today's video. Hi, I'm Jessica Yarbrough, top business strategist for established coaches and consultants who want to sell ultra high-end services and scale their businesses while having more time freedom. They're making multiple six figures, sometimes seven figures, but they're booked solid, overwhelmed, exhausted, and they don't know how they're going to do more to make more. When someone tells me their calendar is full and they don't have the space to grow, to take on clients, or to even think about scaling, it's usually because of one of these three reasons. And the number one reason you're too busy to grow is that you're overbooked and undercharging. If you've followed me for any amount of time, you know that I talk about undercharging all the time. And so many competent coaches and consultants are charging far too little for their time. Yes, you're booked solid, but what if you could work with fewer clients and at much higher rates? What would that do for your time freedom, for your bottom line, for your well-being? I mean, people undercharge for a few common reasons. One of them is imposter syndrome. You may be afraid, you don't know enough in order to raise your prices. Number two is really a lack of a market awareness. You may not realize what people are really willing to pay. Or number three, you don't have the support or know how to do it the right way. There's no clear strategy. Look, I've literally helped clients double, quadruple, even 10x their prices for the same service. So trust me, not knowing what the market is willing to pay can seriously hurt your bottom line. If you're overbooked and undercharging, your business model isn't scalable. You'll run yourself ragged. You'll start to resent your business and eventually you'll burn out. Just like one of my clients, she was stuck and she couldn't scale. She had plenty of business, but they weren't paying her enough. And she told me, Jessica, I literally can't do more to make more. But she made a powerful decision. Even though she was book solid, she invested in her business knowing it would take both time and money. Well, we fixed her model. We created a scalable structure that allowed her to charge multiple five figures for a one-to-many offer. And then we significantly raised her one-to-one prices, so only clients who truly valued private support took those coveted spots, but they paid accordingly. She let go of clients who weren't ready to grow with her, but many were ready to grow and happily paid more. Every new client that came in also paid more, and we ended up quadrupling her business and took her to seven figures in just 1 year. If you haven't read her case study, I highly recommend you download it. The link is pinned in the comments below. Number two, another reason why you may feel like you don't have time to grow your business is that you're drowning in client delivery. And it amazes me the business models that people come to me with. Many are built around intensive in-person delivery. And I think a lot of coaches and consultants underestimate how much time and energy it takes to hop on a plane, fly across the country, deliver a talk or workshop, all while juggling flight delays, Ubers, and hotel stays. You've just lost multiple days, and most people aren't charging accordingly. Others are simply buried in private coaching calls, undercharging and over-delivering with no time left to think or strategize. If that's you, something has to change. One of my clients, a communications coach, was making high six figures, but he was constantly on the road. He was literally drowning in client delivery. And what concerned him the most before enrolling with me was not having the time to actually fix his business. But he made the right call. He realized that if he didn't invest the time and money into shifting his strategy, he would burn out. And together we literally transformed his business. We raised his rates for both in-person and virtual, and then we went after large corporate contracts so that he could move away from these volume-based, low-paying gigs into consistent, high-revenue engagement. Today, he has a scalable business. Companies are paying him six figures at a time. He's turning down low-end gigs, and he now has control of his time. In fact, he recently messaged me to say he had nearly $450,000 in deal flow in just the first 2 months of the year. That's more than half his revenue from the previous year. So if you're drowning in client delivery, it's time to fix your strategy so you can actually grow. Finally, number three, If you don't have time to focus on growing your business, it's likely because you don't have time freedom. You've simply built another job. To me, time freedom means working a reasonable amount of hours and having the flexibility to do what you want when you want. Personally, I work part-time hours. I also take long holiday weekends and 6 weeks of vacation per year. But that didn't happen overnight. It required really transforming my strategy, restructuring my model, and building in the systems and support to make this all possible. Many coaches and consultants haven't taken the time to build this out, and because of that, they stay stuck. One client came to me stuck in the low 6 figures, working under the umbrella of multiple coaching companies. She had a few of her own clients too, but she was undercharging and she was working nights and really stealing time away from her kids. What she really wanted was to work with high performers and to get paid top dollar for her time. So together we built high-end executive coaching packages, and she went from charging a few thousand for private executive coaching to $40,000. We then built a transformational leadership development offer for organizations, and we positioned her as a true expert. She ended up landing a multi-6-figure client, got her time back, hired a team, and built the systems she needed to grow her business. And none of that would have happened if she hadn't made the decision to invest both the time and the money into transforming her situation. I share all of these stories because one of the top excuses I hear from coaches and consultants all the time is, I don't have time. And here's what I believe. Time and money are never real issues. If something is meaningful for you, you're going to find the money and you'll definitely make the time. That's true whether you're transforming your business, your health, or even your relationships. Look, I've helped executives with full-time jobs build 6-figure side businesses. I've helped coaches trapped in someone else's model break free and grow their own business. I've helped high 6-figure consultants reclaim their time while increasing their revenue. No matter how busy you are, the first step to scaling is getting your time back. And that starts with fixing the way your business is structured. These are problems I've solved over and over again. It's not about working harder, it is about working smarter. And the biggest shift comes when you stop viewing growth as doing more and start realizing that scaling requires doing things differently. If you're ready to build a business that gives you your time back and finally grow on your terms, let's have a conversation. Click the link below. Until next time.